Hello guys, how are you guys doing? I hope you are well and good. I'm good as usual, happy, like in our school, happy, smart and happy. Alright, so we are meeting after a week. Wow, time flies. I'm happy that I'm back again. All right. So I'm very happy that I got a very good reviews about our video, British English versus American English. Many people approached me. They told me it's very informative and it's something very interesting, or rather it's something new. So I'm very happy. So I thought, why not we should shoot the second session of it so that you guys will be more acquainted with the new terms, American, British terms and all that. So right now I am at the lakeside. I think you guys have seen the nature. So I thought today I'll take you to a beautiful place which is very much connected with the nature. It's like a scenic beauty. This lake is pretty close to my house, and this is summer, so it's kind of sunny here and it's kind of bright. So normally Norwegians they do come to the lakeside. When it's sunny, they do get some suntan and all that, because we normally don't get the proper vitamin D here because of the lack of sun. So during the summer season, normally Norwegians they do some tan. They just relax here, have some time with their family, spend some quality time with their friends and all that. So that's why I thought I'll take you here. So we are very close to the nature now. All right, so I think I'm done with the introduction. So it's the right time that we go to our topic, that is British versus American English part. So let's get into our session. So it's like British versus American English part 2. All right, so last session we were discussing about 4 situation. We talked more about people. We talked about the dresses. We talked about dresses in the sense we talked about the costumes. So we talk about the food. So this category again, I'm categorizing this into 4 situations. One is in the house, like what is the typical British English words we use in the house, or the American what we use in the house. So first situation, or rather the first scenario, is in the house, and the second one is sports, and the third category is about the building, and the fourth one is on the road. So we will be discussing about the 4 scenarios here. So let's get into the first scenario, that is inside the house. All right, so inside the house we use many terms, like for example, when it comes to our bathroom, or when it comes to our toilet, right? So what do we say? I have a big house. We have 3 bedrooms and 3 attached bathrooms, right? This is what we normally use. So when we use the term bathroom, have you ever wondered which English is that? Is it an American English or a British English? We just use for the sake of using, right? We don't know which English we are actually using. So for example, if I'm saying I live in a very big house, and we have 3 bedrooms and 3 attached bathrooms. All right. So when we use the term bathroom, or like restroom or something, we are using American English, because normally Americans use the term bathroom. All right. So when we use the term toilet, or sometimes we use the term loo, Loo. So when you're using the term toilet, or when you use the term loo, that means it's British English. So for example, you can say, it's like, for example, I go to can I go, if normally in school situation we normally ask teacher, can I go to the toilet? So teacher, can I go to a washroom? So when you use the term washroom, that is American English. So when you use the term teacher, can I go to toilet, or can I go to loo, that means it is British English. Same goes with our house also. If it's like, okay, we have 3 bedrooms and toilets attached, if you're saying toilets attached, that means you are using British English. I hope that one is clear for you. And the next one is, for example, we take shower, or we have taps at home. So if you have turned on the tap, and your mummy is like, see, it's overflowing, I think you should turn off the tap. So when you use the term tap, that is British English. All right. So what do Americans use? Americans use faucet, Faucet. All right. So when your mama says, all right, you should turn off the tap right now because the water is overflowing. So when we use the term tap, TAP, it is British English. And when you use the term faucet, AUCET, that means you are using American English. And nowadays in ads and advertisements, they normally use faucet. So that's like American way. All right, I hope that one is clear. And let's go to the next one. Normally at kitchen, after cutting the vegetables or after brooming the house, after cleaning the house, where do we actually put the dirt, or where do we actually put our garbage? So we normally put our garbage, we say we have a dustbin, we say we have a trash can. So I don't know whether you guys are acquainted with this term trash can. trash is normally used Trash is normally used when it's like in email, because if you're using a Gmail, if you're using a Yahoo or something, it will say move to trash. So you know why? Because Microsoft normally use the American English, so that's why the term trash. Okay, if you're deleting an email, it will say move to the trash. Why? Because it's American English. So when we are using dustbin, okay, in the class, after cleaning the class, we put all the dirt inside the dustbin. So when you use the term dustbin, that's like typical British. When you use the term trash can or trash, that means it's American. So in class, what do you normally use? You use, teacher, can I put this, if it's a paper, if it's something, some dirt or something, if you want to put, you normally say, teacher, can I put that in the dustbin? There, that means there you're using the British thing. And when you say, can I put it in the trash can, that means you're using the American thing. I hope that is clear for you. So we discussed about the toilet, American way, bathroom or restroom, English. And now we discussed about the dustbin or bin, simply bin. We can say bin or dustbin. When you're using bin or dustbin, that means you're using British thing. When you're using trash can, like in emails you see trash, because I told you that American English is used in that, so they normally use trash. So trash can is American way of usage. All right. And next one, everybody likes to watch television, right? So now since we are at the home, we cannot really step out, the situation is very pandemic. So the only thing what we can do is, like, we can just browse the internet, and the second option is we can watch television, right? So normally what do we say in India? We say TV. What are you doing? Oh, I'm watching TV. So TV is used by Britishers also, but the typical British way is telly, Tellly. Oh, what are you doing? I'm watching telly, Tellly. Or rather, sometimes they say, I'm watching the box, Box. So if you say telly, if you say television, that is American English. In India, we normally use television or TV. Most probably, I think we use TV. We don't use television anymore. So when you are using television or telly or box, that means you're using British English. So maybe for a change, you can use the term telly. What are you doing? I'm watching telly. All right. So that's the typical British way. And now next one is like, normally when you get into the guest room, like in a house, when you get into the guest room, we have sofa there, we have teapoy, what we say, the stand there. So what do you say? Okay, come sit on the sofa. So when you use the term sofa, when you use the term couch, or when you use the term settee, 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 sofa or couch, typical British English. Okay, that's my new house, and I bought a new, what you say, a new sofa, or I bought a new settee, or I bought a new couch. If you're using that, that means you're following a British way. And if you're just using the term sofa, that's American. Of course, Britishers do use the term sofa, but thing is, like, they use the other terms also, like couch and settee. So that's it inside the house. One is like toilet, I discussed about it, and the second one, instead of toilet, you can say loo, or washroom or a restroom, that is again American English. Tap, socket, and sofa, you can use settee, Settee also. and you can use the word couch. Oh, that's a new couch. It costs around 20,000 rupees. Or this is a new couch which I bought from Palakkad. I mean, it's like 50,000 bucks. I have paid 50,000 bucks for that. Americans do use sofa. Britishers also use, but thing is here, you can use the different versions as well. So that's it about house. First scenario is over. Now let's talk about the second one. That is sports. I think now boys, girls, everybody, they are like crazy about sports, especially I know football. I mean, when I was teaching for the 8th grade and all, they talk a lot about Messi. I don't know much about football, all right. So I really don't know about the football stars and all. But I quite frequently I have heard about Messi. So that is the only name I know in football. So Britishers, of course, the origin of cricket is from England, but Britishers are very crazy about football too. So football is like when you use the term football, I love to play football, or my favorite footballer or the person is Messi, or who's the other one? I don't know. I'm so sorry. Excuse me, guys. I don't know all the names. Only thing I can remember is Messi. So Messi is my favorite footballer. So he or Messi plays for, I don't know which country. Maybe Brazil. Please don't be angry on me. I don't know. Excuse me for that. So, for example, XYZ. XYZ, I don't take the name. XYZ is playing for Brazil or Argentina. Yeah. For example, Messi is playing for Argentina. So he plays what? We say he plays football. So when we use the term football, that is typical British English. And what do Americans say? They say soccer. Soccer. I think you might have heard about the term soccer, because soccer is mainly used in mobile, like soccer league and all that. So when you use the term soccer, that means you're using American English, and when you use the term football, you're using the British way. All right. And now I have one more stuff to discuss with you. That's like you must be you might have seen the table tennis. So in table tennis, what we use is like to pass the ball. What we use is like a bat, we say. All right. So while playing table tennis, I used a red color bat. Or while playing the table tennis, I used a black color bat. So when we are referring to the table tennis and you're using the term bat, in Britishers they say bat. So what do Americans say? Americans say paddle. Paddle. So okay, I'm going to play table tennis. I have a paddle with red color. So if you're using the term paddle, Paddle, that means it's an American way. And when you use the term bat, that means it's a British way. So the second situation I talked about, sports. Sports is like, for example, if it's a football, when you're using the term football, that's typical British thing. Britishers are very crazy about football. And when you use the term soccer, it's American English. Same goes with the table tennis. If you're using the term bat, it's British way. And if you're using the term paddle, that is American way. I hope that's very clear for you. All right. So can we get into the third scenario? The third scenario, what we use is like on the road. Like, for example, about traffic, about certain vehicles, about the terms which is used in the road. Session from the lake, because it was kind of raining and it was very cold. So I'm back home. Okay, so where were we? We were discussing about the British versus American English part 2. So we discussed on what the things around our home, and then we discussed about the other stuff also. What was that? About sports. All right. So now the third scenario is like on the road. On the road, what are the particular words we use in British English? What are the particular words which has been used in American English? And which English do we really use? We know, last session also it has been told that we use a mix of both the languages, but still it's always good to know, right, which English where and all. So yeah, so let's get into the topic. It's like on the road. So the first point is like for example, you're going to a shopping mall. Okay, you went to a shopping mall and then you parked your car. Where do you normally park your car? We say all right, if your dad and your family is there, so dad will say, all right, I'll park the car and then I'll come to the mall. So where do your dad park the car? So he might say like, I'll park the car in the car park, right? So normally we use the term car park. So which English is that? Is it a British way or is it an American way? We use the term car park, which is British English, right? So what do Americans say? They say parking lot. Okay, I will park the car in the parking lot. If somebody is using the term parking lot, that means that's an American usage. And if your dad or if somebody is using the term car parking or car park, that is British English. All right. And so again, just discussing again, car park is British and parking lot is American. The second scenario, normally we do cross the road, right? So mama will say, hey, be careful while crossing the road. So when do we normally cross the road? When we get the zebra crossing. The zebra crossing is like the white and black lines. So that is the indication, okay, you can cross the road. So what do we say? Okay, when the zebra crossing comes, you can cross the road, right? So normally in India also, we use the term zebra crossing. Zebra crossing is typical British English. What do Americans say? They use crosswalk. It's a cross, right? It's like a black and white. The white is like a cross. So when we use the term crosswalk, that means it's an American way. And in India, what we normally use? We use zebra crossing. All right. When you see the zebra crossing, you can just cross the road. So we are using British English here. So zebra crossing is British English and crosswalk, CROSS, crosswalk is American. Okay, I think that's clear. So two scenarios over. And the third one, we know the goods, like for instance, the grocery or maybe some vegetables or anything for transportation. How do you transport from one place to another? It's like if I had to parcel something, I'm going from Mumbai to Kerala. I have to parcel my belongings. Where do I book the courier? And normally it's in the lorry. LORRY. It's in the lorry where the goods have been transported from one place to another place. So lorry is being quite frequently used in India, and we use the term lorry actually, which is British English. And what do Britishers say? And we are acquainted with the term truck, TRUCK. So a lorry is a truck in America. All right. So we use both the terms. Sometimes we use truck. Sometimes we use lorry also. Lorry and truck is the same thing, but one is an American way and one is a British way. We use both the terms. So when lorry is a Americanized version is truck, or the British version of truck is lorry. I hope it's clear. All right. And third one, again for the transportation thing, what do we need? We need petrol, right? To the lorry or our truck needs petrol to reach from one place to another. So when we use the term petrol, okay, let me just fill petrol in my vehicle. I think the petrol rates are like it's in hike. When we use the term petrol, we are using British English. All right, not American. I mean to say British English. So okay, the petrol prices are in a hike. It is rising. Or I use petrol in my car, So if you use the term petrol or petrol pump, something we say, right? When the term petrol is used, that means we are using British English. And what do Americans say? They use, maybe, I don't know whether you have spotted in Hollywood movies, when they go to a petrol pump or something, it will be written as gasoline, GASOLINE. When the term gasoline is used, it is Americanized version. So gasoline is nothing, it's petrol. Petrol is British, gasoline, or sometimes they say gas, GAS. Gasoline or gas is American English. And one more stuff when I remembered is like talking about petrol. Kerosene. We use kerosene oil kerosene. We use the term kerosene. So when we use the term kerosene, we are using American English. So knowingly or unknowingly, we are using American English or British English in our daily life, right? So when it is paraffin, PRAFFIN, that is typical British way. So kerosene, okay, from ration shop we get kerosene. So we normally use the word kerosene. Kerosene is American. When we use the term paraffin, PRAFFIN, that is typical British usage. All right. And now the second is like, for example, if you are traveling somewhere, all right. If there is a work going on, a construction work going on, or if there is a road repair going on, what do we normally say? What is it? There is a board, right? Work in progress. Please use the diversion. They'll be showing a different route for you. But the typical term what we use is like diversion. Or if they are indicating a particular point, it's like a diversion. So the diversion is normally used in our roads also. In India, we use the term diversion. Or the work in progress uses diversion. Or the diversion with the arrows they show. So when we use the term diversion, that is typical what? British English. All right. So when they use the term detour, D-E-T-O-U-R, detour, D-E-T-O-U-R, when we use the term detour, that means it is American way. But we are normally familiarized with the term diversion because we use British English there. I think that's clear. All right. Now, another point is like, for example, if you're going in a journey, like you're going for a all India trip, so you booked a car, so you guys are traveling. So what do we say? I'm going for a road trip. I'm going for a road trip of like 10 days or something. We'll be roaming all over India. When we use the term road trip, it's typical American. Okay, I will be going with my friends for a road trip. Now, a road trip is basically when you take a car and you're traveling in a car. So when you use the term road trip, it is American. What do they say in British English? They say it's a car drive or a car journey. Okay, I'm going for a car drive. Like for 10 days, I'll be roaming all over India. Or I'll be going for a car journey inside Europe. I'll be covering all the places like Norway, Denmark, Poland, etc. So road trip. Remember, when you hear the term road trip, American. When you hear the term car drive or car journey, that's typical British. Okay. Now two more things I have to say, and then I'll just end up with the road thing. For instance, a house is on fire. What do? A house is on fire. We normally call the fire people, right? We say, oh, the house is on fire. I have called the fire engine, right? When you use the term fire engine, you are using a British English. And so fire engine is British. Same time when you use the term fire truck, that is American. All right. I think that is clear for you. And last but not the least, number plate. You bought a new car. This is my number plate. I've got a fancy number. I have written a fancy number on the number plate. For example, like 2222. That's a fancy number. So when you use the term, I bought a new car and I have a new number plate with a fancy number. If you use the term number plate, that is British English. When you use the term license plate, that is American English. I think it's clear. Number plate, British, and license plate, American. So we are done with the road. We talked about car park, zebra crossing. What is the other term? Crosswalk in American English. So then we talked about petrol. So since I talked about petrol, I talked about kerosene. Kerosene is American, and paraffin, P-R-A-F-F-I-N, is British. That's it about the road. Now the last section is about building or shops. Okay, particularly about building or the shops. What do we normally use in India? For example, I'm not feeling well. I consulted a doctor. Doctor told me to buy some medicines. I went to the medical shop. So we normally use in India, we normally use the term medical shop. But what is a typical British and American usage? So if it's a British guy, he will say, I was not feeling well. I went to the doctor, and now I'm here at the chemist to buy the medicines. So when you use the term chemist, and in certain cases we might have seen the board chemist. In India, I think they write it like, chemist. So when we use the term chemist, I've been to the chemist to buy some medicines. Chemist is typical British English. And when you use the term drug is for medicines, D-R-U-G. Drugstore, S-T-O-R-E. When you use the term drugstore, that means you are using American English. And one more thing, this is just to make you aware. When you use the term store, it is typical American English. They say grocery store. But when you use the term shop, that is British English. That's a different. That's a thing. For example, if you're going to buy some grocery, you'll say, "I'm going to the grocery store." That's typical American. If you're saying, "I'm going to the supermarket," that is British way. So shop and store. Shop is British, store is American. So here, when you say drugstore, you're using American English. I hope it's clear. Now, the second one is like we normally say, my uncle has bought a big house, a big bungalow. Bungalow is a typical, we use in Kerala also, we normally use the term bungalow. Oh, he lives in a big bungalow. So when you use the term bungalow, that means you are using British English. And what is the American usage for that? They can use, they use it as simple house, or sometimes they use as ranch house, R-A-N-C-H, ranch house or simply house. So when you use the term bungalow, that's typical British, and ranch house or house, simply house, it's American. And then for another instance, if I have a shop, all right, we use the term shop, right, in British English. If I have a shop which sells some household things, which sells some tools or something, what do we normally say? Like we in Kerala, we say, like, for example, my cousin, he's having a hardware store, right? So when we say hardware store, that is the American way. First thing, Americans only use the term store. It's shop in British, yeah. So when we use the term hardware store, okay, I bought a screw or something, I don't know, or I bought something from the hardware store, or my uncle is he owns a hardware store. If you use that term, that means it's the American way. If you use the term ironmonger, ironmonger, if it's an ironmonger, it is a person or a shop which sells tools or household. For example, my uncle owns an ironmonger shop. That means basically he is having a hardware store in American English. But in Kerala, we normally use hardware store, but the British version of it is ironmonger's shop. You can use ironmonger's shop or simply ironmonger. So ironmonger is a person or a shop which sells some tools or household stuffs. That's it. So that's it. I think I'm done with the session. We discussed about 4 situations. I hope you remember everything. And thanks for watching my video. Keep watching and learn English, listen to English, speak English, practice English. All the best, and we will see next week. Bye bye. Have a nice day.